Django is a high-level Python framework that encourages rapid development with clean and pragmatic design. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy your Django application to Linode using NGINX, uWSGI, and most importantly, how to do it in a scalable manner. Let us assume you have a website which has a lot of traffic. How do you handle this amount of traffic? How do you make sure that your hardware is not going down serving so many requests? We are going to see the correct way to deploy a Django application. Let's move on to computer screen and let's get started. I will now go to my computer screen and I am going to log into my Linode account. So let's go to linode.com. I'll wait for it to load. Let's log in. I'll log into my Linode account and then I'm going to spin up an Ubuntu server. So let's do it. I'm waiting for my Linode account to log in. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull up something which has a lot of commands to accomplish the task that we want to accomplish in this video, which is hosting a Django application in a scalable manner. So I'll simply search code with Harry, how to host Django app. Okay. So this is a guide which I've written, and as you can see that these are clients which are hitting the server and these all are parallel requests, which is ideal scenario if you are serving a lot of users through your website. So these are parallel requests and they are communicating to Gunicorn, which is calling a Django application. Okay, so let's see how to set this all up on a Linode server, and I'm going to start by creating a Linode. So let's create a Linode, create, and then I'll select Ubuntu 22 LTS because I want to make sure that it has LTS written, which stands for long-term support. Now let's select a region. I am in India, so I'll select Mumbai, and let's select Nanode 1 GB. By selecting Nanode 1 GB, I want to show you that a Django application can be hosted on a Nanode, which is a $5 server. And let's name our Linode as Django hosting. Okay, and let's not add any tags. I'm going to give it a password and I'm going to click on create Linode, and this will create a new Linode. Now this takes time to provision, and in the meantime I'm going to show you what we are going to do in this video. So I'm going to follow this guide and we are going to install Python. We are going to then start a virtual environment. I'm going to do all of these things step by step. So let's wait for our machine to provision and I'll be back. Alright, so I waited for some time and my machine is provisioned. Now I'll copy this SSH access command and let me zoom into my terminal so that you can see properly what I'm typing. Let me paste this out and let's type yes. And let's type the password and this will take me inside the machine. So it says password is wrong. Let me see what's wrong. So I just typed the password and we are inside a machine. So the very first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure to update our package directory. Okay, so let's paste this command. Control V to paste. So we just updated the list of available packages. Now we are going to install Python 3 dev and Python 3 pip. So let's fire this command and this will install everything related to Python pip, and we are also installing NGINX, which is our server responsible for serving our app. Okay, so let's wait for this to finish. The next thing that we want to do is creation of virtual environment. Okay, so this is the virtual environment that we are going to create once NGINX and everything is installed. Remember that we are on a Nanode, so things are going to be a little bit slower than say 32 GB machine or 64 GB machine. Nanode is a 1 GB machine, but it works like a charm for your hobby projects. Okay, so let's wait for it. I'm waiting for this to finish. The moment it finishes, I will be back. Now this is asking me some questions. I am going to answer it. I'm going to press spacebar and then I'm going to press enter, and all these packages are installed. Now it's time to install the virtual environment. So let's install the virtual environment and I'm simply going to paste this and this will install virtual environment on my machine. So I'm simply going to paste this and this is going to install virtual environment on this machine. Okay, and let's create a project directory inside of which we are going to create a Django project. So let's type ls, and pwd I'm inside /root. So let's change the location to /home, and let's create a project directory here. So let's create a project directory and let's cd into that project directory. I'm going to paste this. This will create a project directory, and then this will take me inside the project directory. Let's type pwd, and this shows me that I'm inside /root /project dir. Actually, I wanted to create this project directory inside home. So I'm going to tweak this command a little bit, and instead of saying mkdir /, I'm going to simply say mkdir project dir, and I'm going to cd into this project dir. So cd project dir. Now, if you are logged in as root, then you will have to do this, the thing that I just did. But if you are logged in as a user which has root access, you might not have to do this, because it is not recommended to install an application as root. So having said that, I'm simply going to copy this command virtual env, and I'm going to paste this here. This will paste this, this will create a virtual environment. Let me show you. It has created a virtual environment. Now let's install Gunicorn, but before that, let's activate this virtual environment. I'm going to paste this, and as you can see that this virtual environment is activated. This env written in parenthesis means that this virtual environment has been activated. Okay, now let's copy this command, pip install Django Gunicorn, and let's paste it. This will install Django and Gunicorn packages. Okay, now Django admin is a command line utility which help us to create a project in Django. Okay, so let's copy this and let's paste this command. Now Django admin start project textutils will create a project named textutils inside this directory, but I don't want to create it in this directory. Instead, I want to create this in /home /my project dir, project dir. Okay, so let me show you that this has created a Django project called textutils here and a manage.py file. All right, so we are all set. Now I want to run python manage.py make migrations and python manage.py migrate. So let's run python manage.py make migrations and python manage.py migrate. In Django, make migrations will simply create files that are required to migrate, and python manage.py migrate will actually write the tables to the database. So if you are using a NoSQL database, or if you are using MySQL, it will simply create the required tables for you. Okay, now we are going to allow the port 8000 just so that we can check that a Django application is working. So 8000 port is allowed. Now we can simply say python manage.py run server, which will simply start a development server on this host and this port. But we want to make sure that we run server on 0.0.0.0. So let's type this host and port. This will ensure that the Django app is accessible from the IP address. So let's copy the IP address, and in a new tab, I'm going to simply access this, and it says that you need to add this IP to allowed host. Now what is this? What is this saying to me? It is simply saying that, hey, you are not allowed to access this Django application from this IP address. You need to allow this first. So we'll go to vim textutils, and inside of this file there is a settings.py, and inside settings.py there is a allowed host list. This is a Python list, and we need to add this IP address to allowed hosts. Okay, now this IP has been added to allowed hosts, and as you can see that now if I run the server and if I reload this page, the install worked successfully. Congratulations, which means that development server is working. But wait, we are not done yet. This is a development server which is not suitable for production. We just tested our Django application. We just tested whether our Django application is working or not. and whether this server is working or not. The install is working successfully, but we are not done yet. We want to serve our application using Gunicorn. So let's stop, and let's stop this development server as well. And let's copy this command and let's paste it to check whether Gunicorn is working or not. So this is what I ran, and as you can see, Gunicorn -- bind and host :port, this is working. Okay, so now if I reload this should work. Now this application is being served from Gunicorn. Okay, but we are not done yet because we want to make sure that this is automatically started when our server restarts, and we want to run it as a service. So let's stop it and let's deactivate a virtual environment. And also let's create a socket file. So let's create this socket file. Let me fire this command, right click, paste, and let's copy this and let's paste. And as you can see, the description is Gunicorn socket, then listen stream is this, and wanted by sockets.target. Let's save this file, and after saving this file, we want to create a service. Let's create a service. Let's paste this command and let's press I to enter insert mode. And you have to be very careful with this file. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let me create a new file and let me exactly show you what I mean. Now the user is root, okay, because we are deploying this application as a root user. Okay, so we need to type root here, and our application is inside this directory. What is the directory that we are using? We are using /home/myproject.dir. I guess it's project.dir, not my project.dir. I tend to use this name a lot, but this time I used project.dir. So this is where a working directory is, and we need to replace our working directory once again here. env is the name of a virtual environment. Is there anything else that I want to edit? Dexutils is the name of my app. So if your name of the app is something else, you need to edit this as well. Let's now copy all this. Let me check it once again. So user is root, group is www-data, and /home/project.dir. Everything looks good. Yes, everything looks good to me. And let's right click, paste, and escape :WQ to exit and enter. Okay, so this file has been saved. Let's run these two commands and this will simply start the service. So let's paste this command and let's now add NGINX as a reverse proxy. So we just set up Gunicorn and we want to make sure that whenever something hits NGINX, it should be able to serve a Django app. So whenever somebody hits port 80 on a machine, we want to make sure that they are directed to our Python application. So let's see what we want to edit here. I'm editing using VS Code because it's simply convenient for me to edit like this. Let's copy the IP address of a machine and let's paste it here. So the server name is this. Location /favicon.ico, access off, okay. Now location /static, we are going to handle the static files very soon, but at this point I want to make sure that our application is served properly. So this is the location of static file, okay, everything looks good, and now this will actually be responsible for serving a Django application. Okay, so let's copy this and let's paste it here. So let's paste it where? Let's create a configuration file. So we want to create a configuration file here. So let's copy this command, let's paste it here, enter, and let's copy the content of this file and let's right click, paste. But before that, you must enter insert mode, but everything is pasted properly. So I'll simply press escape :W and Q, and this file is saved. And now I can copy this and paste it, sudo ln-s this, and okay, so this will actually move this file to sites enabled. Now let's restart NGINX and fingers crossed we'll test our application. So let's test our application. This is not going to work. I don't expect this to work because we have just stopped running our application on port 8000. Let's see if this works, and this works. Congratulations guys, congratulations, it works. But there is a problem here, and the problem is that we want to make sure that static files are served properly. What do I mean when I say static files are served properly? Let me show you. So if I right click, inspect, and if I show you this thing, you can see that the server responded with error 404 not found. What is this? This is /static/admin/css. Now this is something that you need to understand. There are two variables inside settings.py of Django, static dir's Django, and there is a page called how to manage static files in Django documentation, and we are referring to the latest documentation. Make sure that django.contrib.static files is included in installed app. Okay, now static URL is something that you are going to use for static files. So this is going to be static. So let's go to our settings.py, ls cd text utils, and let's swim settings.py, and let's see what is the value of our static URL. It's static and we want to keep it static. Okay, now what is static files dirs? Static files dirs is list of directories in your settings file where Django will look for static files. Alright, now I'll show you something. If I run a command called python manage.py collect static, so let me close this first. If I run a command called python manage.py collect static, this is going to create a static file directory. Okay, so I need to activate my virtual environment first. So I'll say source env bin activate, and let's run this command now. And it says that this is going to override existing files. Now I'll say yes, and it says that you are using the static files app without having set static root settings to a file system path. Now I'll tell you what exactly this error means. This error is essentially saying that you have not set your static root. Now what is the static root? Static root setting to the directory from which you would like to serve these files. So let us say I want to create a folder called static here. Okay, let me show you. So let us say I want to create a static folder here. So mkdir is static, and I want to make sure that this is the folder which is going to contain all the static files. So I'll go to my settings.py and I'm going to set this. I'll enter insert mode, I for insert mode, and let me create this static files, static root. So I'm going to add this, and now I'll save it, and now I can simply run python manage.py collect static, and this will collect all the static files to this directory. So let me say ls and cd static ls. Okay, so I actually made a mistake. I actually wanted to collect all the static files in this directory, not in this directory. So I'll simply edit this settings.py file again, and I actually wanted to put all my static files. See, you can put your static files anywhere, but we want to keep things organized. So I actually wanted to change my static root to this. This is the place where all your static files are going to be collected using collect static command. So escape:\wq enter to save, and let's delete this admin. So let me rm-rf admin. So this admin is a folder which is collected by our collect static command, and we are going to run the collect static command once again. So python manage.py collect static has actually collected 125 static files to this directory. So let's see, and let's see what exactly is there in this directory. So yes, as you can see, this directory has been populated and it has all the static files. Now what I want to do is I want to run chown-r and www data www data, and I want to say /home/project_dir. Okay, and then let's restart NGINX. And now if I do ls-lart, you'll see that www data will own all the files inside this project_dir folder. Now if I go to /admin, so this is my URL. If I go to /admin, you'll see that CSS and everything is fixed. Okay, which means that everything is working fine and your Django app is deployed, and you can start giving the link to your Django application to your users, and your Django app is very scalable. Okay, so I hope that you understood how to deploy a Django application in a scalable manner such that a lot of users can use it at one given point in time. So I hope you learned something new and you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.